Hello, Mr. Smith. I'm Dr. and uh,
Hello,
will you take
doctor.
us?
Yeah, it's yeah. Uh, Hi, doctor. Good morning.
Okay, what brought you here?
Doctor, I had a friend who had this kind of skin cancer called melanoma, and she just died a week ago. And well, you know, it's
Sorry,
because yeah, she had a lot of moles on her back, and she couldn't see the moles. So one
uh,
of them turned cancerous, and then when they found out, it was too late. So
mhm,
that's why
I
I'm
see.
here.
Okay, you mean that you're worried about your moles?
Yes, because I have a lot of moles on my back. I mean, all over my body, but I can't see the ones on my back. And I asked my girlfriend to have a look, and she said she has no idea. So we were discussing maybe I could have them all removed.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I understand. Okay, um, you know, Mr. Smith, moles are, almost always benign, except some, very rare conditions that may, occur that unfortunately for your friend, had been occurred. But, skin cancer is usually preventable. For example, and,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
most
what I'm saying. Yes, if we can remove them, then we can probably prevent from the skin cancer. Yeah. Because the moles turn cancerous, yes? So if you remove them all, then yeah. So what do you think?
Yes, I see. Yeah, Mr. Smith, uh, removing all moles on your body, is technically and scientifically is not, mm, possible, you know, uh, and it's not necessary for you because it's almost treatable, and benign moles often arise in third or fourth decades of life. And here, me as a physician, I'm here to help you, and I think it's not a good option to removing all moles in your body on your body.
Okay, but then can you? I mean, how could you make sure that they don't turn cancerous?
Some changes will occur for your skin spots. For example, asymmetries, irregular borders, different coloring, increasing diameter, and changing shape and size. If you see them, then you can come and we will check them, and beside of them you can protect your skin. For example, you can use regular skin checks, do regular skin checks, protect against sun damage, wear sun creams, hat, or protect clothing, etc. There are very different ways to protect your skin from the cancer. What do you think about that?
So why don't we just simply just remove all of them? I mean, this is because I cannot see my back. So yeah. So how about just taking out the ones on my back?
As you mentioned, your girlfriend see and check your back mold, and I recommend you to take a photo from that mold, and we can check the difference between the picture you take today and next 6 months, and we can discuss about it 6 months later, and make you sure that it's not malignancy or very skin cancer.
Okay. Okay,
Okay, what do you think
that's fine.
now?
Okay. All right, that's fine. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Okay. Uh, so how does that feel?
You know, better than the previous one,
Okay.
but
What score would you give yourself?
again, I think 7.
7 out of 10. Okay. So what went well?
You know, I think I approached the difficult case good, and but I didn't summarize. I just I approached so not very well, not bad.
So
Uh,
which one? Rapport?
Rapport, yes.
Rapport. Okay. What do you mean by so-so?
I introduced myself, but I didn't ask patient's ID and patient's name.
Yeah,
So
it's a suburban clinic. You don't actually, you know the patient.
suburban.
Yeah, unless it is a new patient or you're a new doctor. But usually, if they say suburban clinic, you're supposed to know them. So you just say, well, yes, Mr. Smith or Mr. Johnson or whatever, come in, please. How can I help you today? So you don't need to introduce yourself or ask their name. Uh,
Okay.
okay. So right. How was your structure? Was it good?
Uh, yes, I think it was better than the previous one.
Yeah, you found out that the patient wants to remove all the moles, and um then you said that this is not possible. Okay.
Mhm.
Based on what? Based on any evidence or any ethical principles? Did you give any scientific reason or any ethical reason?
Not a reason, no.
Okay, so you did information gathering, good, and you explored the eyes, you identified the eyes, which is uh, fear of cancer, melanoma, and the expectation was to remove the melanoma. But the idea was that all the moles can turn cancerous, and you said almost always the moles are benign, yes, which is not correct. Okay.
Language exam.
Yes, it's the 1 in 5 people, that's 20% in Australia, get skin cancer. Uh, okay. Explore the eyes, and then, well, yeah, in information giving, I think, what do you think? Do you think you should do the information giving a little bit differently?
uh, yes, I think I didn't convince the patient.
Right. Chunking and checking. Did you pause and say, because you kept talking, you didn't actually pause much. You just paused once and said, well, how do you feel about, what do you think about it, or how do you feel about that? Um, but what we're supposed to do is, after each part of our speech, we pause and check the understanding and say, okay, you see, it's not necessary to remove all the moles. Is that all right? And I said, no. Why? Well, because well, uh, you said scientifically and technically it's not possible. Okay, what do you mean by scientifically and technically? Yeah, well, technically, it is possible. You can remove all of them, but in fact, you will have even more of them after the age of 30. So you're 25 now, you will have more. You cannot just remove all of them. The second fact is that even if you remove the moles, you might still have melanoma, because if you don't see the moles, it doesn't mean that you don't get melanoma. The cells are there,
Mhm.
okay? And basically, we don't want to leave you with a lot of scars,
Okay.
okay? So at each point, you need to stop, pause, check the understanding, and say, is that okay? Do you have any questions? Okay? And so be interactive. Uh, okay. So, yes. So the expectation is to remove all the moles, and then you said that, well, it's not possible scientifically and technically. Okay. So what can I do? Well, then what you can do is to keep an eye on them and make sure they don't change, and to come back and see us if you see any change. And okay, what do you mean by change? Well, the change is A, B, C, D, E. It means asymmetry, border, uh, A, B, C, color, D for diameter, and E for evolving or changing. So you need to remember if there are any changes. Well, I can't do that. It's my back. Okay, take a photograph and we can compare it in 6 months' time. You cannot say, okay, tell your girlfriend to do that, because this girlfriend might not be there in 6 months' time. And basically, the girlfriend is not a professional. So yeah, so you can say that. Oh, well, we can take a photograph and then compare it. So basically. Yes, and you didn't even look at the moles. Did you say, I checked your moles, they don't look malignant, or they don't look, they all look normal or benign? Okay. So basically, before you check the moles, you cannot say, no, almost always they're benign without even looking at them. Okay.
It was, in the question, it wasn't, that was
Uh,
a better check.
well, yeah, yes, but in reality, you need to check that. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, did you? What are the risk factors you said? What is the biggest reason for skin cancer? The most important cause, or um yeah, it's
Some,
sun exposure. Yes. So so the biggest risk factors are age and sun exposure. And so, did you pick up any cues?
uh, yeah, when the patient, said that he has a lot of moles, and his friend was died, from that.
Yep.
I think that.
Yep. Good. Very good. Yes. The friend, any third person, any other person, which is mentioned, is a cue. So yes, the friend is a cue, and then when you pick up a cue, you can always explore it. You can say, okay, what happened to your friend? How old was she? And then it gives you some idea. Okay. For example, if the patient says, well, she was 18, does that make a difference? If she was 18, you're 25?
Mm,
Then if she's older, yes, your risk is lower. But if she's younger,
Yep. Younger people get cancer. Why?
no, not,
Genetic predisposition. Okay, so if they have it in genes, so we usually can say that. Well, yes, it happens to younger people with family history, or with genetic predisposition. Okay, so basically, yep, we say it is worth exploring, basically. So, what about your friend? Or maybe he says, well, my friend was 60 years old. So you can say, well, you're 25, your friend was 60. That's different. Okay. So you need to see where they're coming from.
Yes.
Okay. Good. So um, right. Well done. Yeah, I agree. This was much better. What you need to change, I think, is this chunking and checking. So basically, pause and double check in your information giving. You could have summarized. You could have said, "Well, I'm really sorry to hear about your friend." So what you said is, she had a mole, it turned cancerous, and you worried about the same thing. Is that correct? Yes. And you think that if you remove all of your moles, then you won't get melanoma. Is that correct? Yes. Well, I have to tell you, this is not the case because even if you don't see the moles, it doesn't mean that you wouldn't get melanoma. Okay. Basically, you answer with science. You say, we know that even if you don't see the melanoma cells or the moles, they might be growing there. Okay? So the use of sun protection and just keeping an eye is the only way. Is that okay? Yes, that's okay. Okay. So you need to convince the patient with science. Okay. Right. Any questions?
No.